An update on the ship crew of the Baltimore Bridge collapse.
Protesters stormed the gallery of Israel's parliament.
And a new case of bird flu in a human.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining NTTV News at Noon. I'm Sydney Johnson.
And I'm Marshall Farmer. There are updates on the ship crew involved in the Baltimore Bridge collapse. The 22 members are currently stuck on board until the ship can be cleared of debris, which may take several weeks to complete. The crew will likely not get home for a couple of months, as they are 21 days away from their original destination of Sri Lanka. Thankfully, the crew has plenty of food on board, and only one minor injury was reported from the crew, which did require stitches. Despite the damage to the ship, living conditions on board are decent.
Even though the front part of the ship is damaged, the rest of the ship, the living quarters and where they eat and where they rest, is undamaged. The ship normally runs on generators, so it has generator power, it has food, they have cooking facilities, so all those needs are being taken care of.
Due to visa complications and ship obligations, the crew won't be able to get off the ship while it's being cleared of debris.
A deathly earthquake struck a small city in Taiwan last night. Taiwan's National Fire Agency reports 9 fatalities and over 800 injuries so far. With a magnitude of 7.4, this quake is the strongest the area has seen in over 25 years. Up to 131 people are currently trapped under rubble or damage caused by the accident. Authorities are working actively to contact and rescue those who are trapped. NFA said 2 citizens caught in a Hualien tunnel were found earlier today.
Tornadoes and damaging wind gusts happened across the eastern United States last night. As of early Wednesday morning, there have been over 120 storm reports across the region, including several tornadoes. This is a look at the damage in Sunbright, Tennessee. Downed power lines and roofs torn off of homes and businesses. In addition to Tennessee, tornadoes were also reported in Alabama, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, and Ohio. Storm threats will continue to push along the East Coast throughout the day.
I was out in Denton Square yesterday and it felt amazing. Well, that is until the sun went down.
Yes, well, warm afternoons and chilly nights seem to be the norm right now. NTTV's Erica Magu has today's forecast. Erica, what do you have for us?
It seems like we're in luck this coming week. We are experiencing a bit of some sunshine today. We are experiencing a temperature of 60 degrees and feeling like 58. And we are experiencing a bit of some wind coming out at 11 miles per hour at northwest north. And for tonight's conditions, it seems like we're experiencing a bit of some clearness. We're experiencing a temperature of 61, feeling like 61, and wind coming from the northwest north at 7 miles per hour. Now for tomorrow's conditions, we are experiencing a little more sunshine, so that's pretty good for us. We're experiencing a temperature of 79, feeling like 79 as well, and just a bit of wind at east-southeast at 5 miles per hour. And that's all I have for current conditions. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Erica. Family members of the hostages taken in the October 7th attacks protested at the gallery of Israel's parliament building, calling for new elections and plastering yellow handprints on the windows. The protesters were heard chanting the word "now" repeatedly with opposition members of parliament. This comes after Israeli forces struck the World Central Kitchen in Gaza with 3 precision-guided missiles, killing 7 workers and forcing the kitchen to close. Prime Minister Netanyahu said this tragedy was a mistake.
A U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals meets tomorrow to consider whether a Texas immigration law is constitutional. The law, Senate Bill 4, lets state officials arrest and detain people they suspect of crossing the southern Texas border illegally. The 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals blocked it until they can make a decision. Legal experts believe that this case could eventually give the U.S. Supreme Court an opportunity to review the federal government's long-held control over immigration policy.
Up next, a shooting last night at North Carolina Central University.
And an Alabama mother is accused of putting cocaine in her 3-year-old child's backpack.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and it's hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
North Carolina Central University was on lockdown last night following a shooting on campus. NCCU Police Chief Damon Williams stated that the shooting occurred at 10:15 p.m. around the Lawson Residence Hall. Williams has not confirmed if anyone was shot or not, stating that this is an ongoing investigation. The lockdown was lifted at around 12:50 a.m. this morning. The university will be offering counseling today at Lawson Hall for anyone that wishes to talk about it or needs support.
The avian flu has spread to cattle in several states, and Utah is working to stay off that list. CNN's Mithili Gopi reports.
This is the first time that it's been reported in dairy cattle.
Utah lost thousands of birds 2 years ago to a deadly avian flu outbreak spread by wild birds.
Now we are starting to see cases emerging in dairy cattle.
States that do have positive cases of highly pathogenic avian influenza in dairy cows are Texas, Idaho, Kansas, Michigan, and New Mexico.
Right now we have 0 cases of avian influenza in Utah, which we hope will stay that way.
But the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food is trying to keep local cows safe from infection.
We have put stricter limitations on the importation of cattle, dairy cattle specifically. Rather than the 30-day required veterinarian health check, they have to have that check done within 7 days of importation.
When they get sick with avian influenza, there's a sharp drop in milk production and in feed intake, and so that there's off coloration and consistency of the milk.
The good thing is that unlike when birds fall sick with avian influenza, cows have been able to recover.
Thankfully, depopulation is not necessary for cattle, as it is not deadly to the cattle as it is with birds, and is not as easily transmissible with cattle.
And experts say this hopefully won't impact milk prices in grocery stores much either.
In the springtime, we have a seasonal surplus of milk. And so with the number of dairies that have been affected, the impact on milk production has been minimal.
But there are things that farmers can do to help prevent the spread of infection.
Limiting the number of visitors you have to your farm, washing vehicles that come on and off your farm, changing boots, wearing boot covers.
From the information we do have right now, there's no imminent threat to humans.
You know, even though people have gotten infected, whether it's from exposure to birds, poultry, or in this case, cattle, there's been very little documented human-to-human transmission.
The Utah Department of Agriculture and Food also saying that at this time there's no known risk to public health because of avian flu. They say if you have any cows showing any symptoms, you're asked to reach out to the state veterinarian to report the issue because this helps track and prevent further spreads. In Salt Lake City, I am Mithili Gopi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Bird flu has also been detected at a poultry facility in Texas, causing a temporary shutdown and a culling of 1.6 million laying hens. Officials say the current risk to the public is minimal.
A mother in Mobile, Alabama is behind bars after police found guns and almost $500,000 worth of cocaine. But investigators say that's just the beginning. As Deshaun Smith reports, police say she put children in danger.
Several kilos of cocaine are now off the street after deputies say a Mobile mother put her 4 children in serious danger. Investigators say this all started when the sheriff's office received a tip about 35-year-old Tierra Hill having a large amount of cocaine at her house on Harvey Court. Sheriff Paul Birch says she was seen leaving the house on Saturday but was caught soon after.
They received some information that she may be delivering some cocaine. There was a traffic stop conducted where she was ultimately found to be in possession of about a pound or a kilo and a half of cocaine along with a firearm.
But that was just the beginning. When investigators searched the house, they say they found Hill's 4 children, ages 3 to 15 years old. They say the 3-year-old was wearing a backpack with around 2 kilos of cocaine in it. The sheriff says they also found another backpack with 1 kilo of cocaine and 2 handguns nearby.
There are a lot of possibilities that could have occurred had the children, number one, ingested any of the cocaine or been exposed to it. And then you've got these young children, have handguns within their reach as well.
MCSO says all of the cocaine is worth around $450,000. Jail records show Hill has been in and out of Metro Jail almost 10 times in the last few years, and they hope she won't be going anywhere soon.
It's just alarming to me that a mother would allow their children to be exposed to these type of things. She has to see a judge before a bond is set. But my 2 cents is she ought to sit her butt in jail until she goes to trial. I mean, she subjected those children to some extremely dangerous situations.
Hill remains in Metro Jail and faces multiple charges, including trafficking cocaine and 4 counts of chemical endangerment of a child. This weather this week has been all over the place. First it was warm, and then there was a tornado siren, and then now we're in this weird in-between of just warm and cold weather.
Man, tell me about it. It's definitely been a wild week. Let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Erica in Bagwu, to see if the weather will calm down for the rest of the week. Erica?
I absolutely agree. It seems like we're experiencing a lot of 60s throughout the north. So we're experiencing 60s from Graham and Denton, and a little bit of 59s here and there. And then for across the local, it seems like it's not really getting much any better. It seems like we have 60s, 69s, 67s even, and even at Oklahoma having 55. And then looking at the 7-day weather forecast, it seems like it does get a bit better throughout this week, but when we get introduced to the next week, it seems like it just goes crashing down. So Wednesday, we are experiencing a high temperature of 71. For Thursday, we're experiencing another high temperature of 79. So like I said, it does seem to increase a bit, but as we get into next week, it seems like we are experiencing a bit of stormy weathers. We have Tuesday here experiencing high storms at 72 degrees and a low of 58 with a 75% chance of rain. So definitely buckle up for this next week. Have your puffer coat ready and your umbrella ready as well. And that's all I have for the full weather report. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Erica. The Truth Social plot thickens. Trump Media is suing 2 of its co-founders to eliminate their stakes in the company. The lawsuit alleges Andy Latinsky and Wes Moss made a series of reckless and wasteful decisions that caused significant damage. Trump Media is asking the court to force them to return the 8.6 million shares they were going to receive. That's equivalent to about $444 million. Latinsky and Moss filed their own lawsuit against Donald Trump, arguing the former president was planning to dilute their stake in the company.
Later, more information on Lizzo's I Quit post.
And a Freaky Friday sequel is on the horizon.
The do's and don'ts of the Pole Rec Center. See that man over there? Please do not hog weights. Instead, do this. Another important part is having an attentive spotter. See, here is an example of a non-attentive spotter. Instead, do this. Now we head to the track, which should be pretty easy, just it's important to pay attention to the way the track goes. Remember to wipe down the equipment after you're done using it. The towels are provided by the gym, so it's pretty easy to wipe down the equipment when you are done. Thank you for using the Pole Recreation Center.
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounce checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break.
No.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Well, Marshall, with the end of the semester coming, the news cycle, and just the difficulties of life, it's no wonder so many people are stressed out.
No, I totally get it. I mean, it's that time of the semester where everyone is just stressing out. But thankfully, the FDA just approved a new treatment that offers potential new benefits in the fight against depression. Our segment anchor Ian Cropper has more.
Thanks, guys. Well, as a Bills fan, I'm currently feeling devastated by the news that Jay will cover shortly. Fortunately, the Food and Drug Administration is signing off on Rejoin, the first ever digital treatment for depression. The tool is a prescription-only smartphone app for people who get a diagnosis of major depressive disorder. It won't treat depression on its own, but it'll work in conjunction with more traditional medications. The 6-week program will consist of a series of brain training exercises which may stimulate the areas of the brain thought to be responsible for antidepressant effects. There is a major asterisk, though. Rejoin has yet to show statistically significant results in trials. It was approved by the FDA due to its low-risk nature, but more data is needed to determine if the app truly works as advertised. For the meantime, insurance companies might also be hesitant to cover Rejoin. However, woes, field testing and further developing Rejoin is a low-risk option that could potentially yield great rewards. The app will become available later this year. That's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Ian. Dev Patel makes his feature directorial debut with a high-octane thriller. David Daniel has a look at the action-packed Monkey Man.
Every day, I've prayed for a way to protect the weak.
Dev Patel becomes a full-fledged action hero. The actor wrote and directed the fight-filled Monkey Man and shares the impact the action genre had on him at a young age.
Ever since I was a kid, when I watched Bruce Lee through the banister, and he totally took my breath away, and that kind of created my passion for cinema. And then the walls of my box room that I grew up in just slowly got filled with Bruce Lee memorabilia.
He explains how long it took to get into fighting shape for the film.
I had like 3 months of prep, and that's when I just dove into kind of doing all the choreo and the training. And you know, I'm quite a skinny, awkward build kind of guy, so I knew I was never gonna, you know, really look like a Marvel superhero, but that's kind of the point, you know, like this guy's an everyman, he's truly an underdog.
Do you remember me now?
The movie's intense choreography proved challenging for the star.
To try and hold that amount of choreo in your head whilst wearing all those other hats, that was the most difficult thing. You know, you'd learn, you know, 120 move sequence down, and it's like a dance with 8 men. And then, you know, 2 months later, when you finally get to it, you're like, oh my God, you drop a move and you're gonna lose a tooth, or, you know, you're gonna sprain an ankle or get punched in the ribs. So it was, the stakes were high.
Are you ready for a fight? 1, 2, 3.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Monkey Man will be released in theaters this Friday, April 5th.
Lizzo says she's not leaving the music industry despite a social media post that caused quite the stir. One of her Instagram messages from last week said, quote, "I quit." She clarified yesterday that she's tired of the negative criticism she receives, saying she's quitting negativity. The artist says she hopes to empower others to stand up for themselves against hate.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including a huge NFL trade that just happened.
I heard the same thing. Let's check in with our sports anchor, Jay Lathon, for the details. Jay?
Yes, indeed, Marshall. A Texas team has gotten stronger this offseason, adding a top offensive weapon. I'll have this and more. Stay tuned for sports on North Texas Television.
Good evening, my name is Amanda Hasbell and I'm joining you here today in the Union Parking Garage. Today we're going to be going over how to drive safely in the parking garage. Let's go see. Oh my god, this girl just got hit by a car. Let's go see what happened. Ma'am, are you okay? Are you okay?
Did you see that lady hit me with a car?
Yeah, we did. I got it all on video.
Oh my god.
Let's go over here and talk about how we can prevent that.
Yeah, not the hospital.
Well, right now we're going to ask you a couple questions on how we can drive safely in the parking lot. What are ways that we can be aware of our surroundings?
Oh, we can look both ways.
Jenna, also, how about putting the distractions away?
Yes, just like our phones, turning our music down, and also not focusing on our passengers.
Where can you get information on how to get a parking pass?
Transportation.unt.edu.
If you park in a garage, make sure you pay on the app or look for further instructions on how you should pay.
And remember, no pass, no park. Let's all try to keep our Mean Green community safe.
Remember, we're all in this together.
Drive safe.
Willis Library, located at the University of North Texas. It has computers, printers, and the building is open 24/7. By going online, you can book up to an hour of reserved space and one of the many private study rooms. Many of them are equipped with whiteboards, a table, and a TV to hook up to your computer. Textbooks can be checked out for free with a student ID. They also have many of these in ebook forms. This is still a library, so always remember to be quiet and respectful of other surroundings, especially in certain places where talking is not allowed. For example, the 3rd and 4th floor are completely quiet. As you can see, Willis Library has many options for students, with it offering many media sources and staying open all the time.
Breaking news, as 4-time Pro Bowler Stephon Diggs and a 2024 6th-round pick and a 2025 5th-round pick is being traded to the Houston Texans in exchange for a 2nd-round pick. This is massive for the Texans as they are having a phenomenal offseason, going all in for their rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud. As a Houstonian myself, I'm elated to say the least. The Texans do play the Cowboys in Jerry World this year, and I definitely want to watch that potential Diggs duel. Now, the Mavs, they wrapped up their road trip in San Francisco last night against the Warriors. Let's go to those highlights. Jumping in from the second quarter, we got Curry shooting from the parking lot, and you know it's good. Once again, Curry, so inspirational, hitting another 3 to go up 11. Curry would shoot 60% from the 3 last night. Now to Luka being Luka with a step back. He closes the lead down to 9. Now we have Luka running the floor. He's going to dish it out to P.J. Washington for the jam. But the job is not finished for Doncic as he go ahead and he hits a 3 to go up 5 with the Mavs. He'd finished with 30 on the night. Later in the game, Curry on the run, showing why he's a splash bro, and he puts the Warriors up 9. Then late in the game, we have Draymond Green, who lays the law with a clutch block. The Warriors would go on to win this game 104-100, snapping the Mavs' 7-game win streak. Now from the hardwood to wood bats, the Rangers played in Tampa last night, and this was a forgettable performance by the defending champs as they would go on to lose 5-2. Isaac Paredes hit a 3-run shot to put the Rays up 5-0. On a positive note, catcher Jonah Heim had 2 hits, and he was the soul of the offense, driving in the only 2 runs of the night. Now we go to another big game tonight for the Mean Green as they take on number 7th ranked Oklahoma State at Lovelace. This will be the 30th meeting between the two teams, as last year the Mean Green upset the Cowboys 5-1, setting a program record for highest ranked home win. First pitch will be at 6 p.m. That's all I have for sports. I'm Jay Lathan. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks for watching NTTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here on North Texas Television.